Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters show. It's the 31st of December, 2025.
Happy New Year's Eve.
And to you. We're closing out the year with a really crucial deep dive. We're looking at some huge corporate moves, the effects of global trade wars, and some sudden political shocks that are going to set the tone for 2026.
It's a fascinating picture. You've got companies aggressively cleaning up their finances on one hand, but at the same time, you see these geopolitical for U.S. tariffs, China's tech, push creating huge waves. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's start with the big corporate finance moves. Apex Healthcare is officially going private.
Yep, the takeover offer crossed that compulsory acquisition threshold.
So Pharmora now holds almost 95%. What does taking a solid healthcare company like that private signal to you right now?
Well, it's about control and, optimizing their structure away from the glare of the public markets. They clearly see more value in going it alone.
It seems to be a theme. Look at Genting. They just did a major debt management exercise.
A huge one. Their first ever RM3 billion medium-term notes. And they used that cash immediately to pay down older, probably more expensive debt.
So it's a classic refinancing play.
Exactly. They're swapping out short-term debt for cheaper, longer-term capital. It's about shoring up the foundations before things get rocky globally.
And speaking of good financial housekeeping, Cypark Resources also had some positive news.
They did. They fully redeemed their outstanding RM 235 million Perpetual Sukuk.
Which is a pretty big deal, right?
It's a huge vote of confidence. Look, Perpetuals are basically the most expensive equity-like debt you can have.
Yeah.
Paying that off, it just massively strengthens their financial profile.
Okay, so let's shift from cleanup to strategic growth and some major disputes. Datuk Shabarudin Ibrahim is now a big shareholder in Citaglobal.
Through a share swap, yeah. And this is the interesting part. It gives Citaglobal a nearly 13% effective stake in Mutiara Perlis.
The master developer of that massive Perlis Maritime Corridor, the PMC.
We're talking a U.S. $6.5 billion logistics hub. So this isn't just a passive investment. Citaglobal is locking itself into a huge piece of future national infrastructure. That's strategic.
But it's not all smooth sailing out there. Contrast that with Maju Holdings.
Right. The MEX highway concessionaire. One of their creditors has applied to put them under interim judicial management.
And that's basically the financial equivalent of calling in a referee, isn't it, when a company is just drowning in debt?
It's a serious red flag. It's meant to protect the assets while they figure out if a takeover is even possible. And you see pressure elsewhere, too. Chin Hin's unit is taking Excite Malaysia to arbitration.
For the Intel Pelican project.
Yeah, and the numbers are big. They're seeking about RM 201 million. They're claiming issues with payment, costs, and get this, a 795-day extension request.
Wow. That's over 2 years.
A delay that long on a major project tells you there's immense friction in the industrial construction sector right now.
And a lot of that friction, I imagine, is being driven by these huge global shifts. I mean, let's talk geopolitics. China's really ramping up its push for chip self-reliance.
They're mandating at least 50% domestically made equipment for any new chip factories. This is a direct response to U.S. export restrictions.
And you can see the ripple effect immediately in commodities. Copper is on its longest winning streak since 2017.
It is, and that's driven by supply fears and, well, the threat of more U.S. tariffs. And it's not just copper. Nickel hit a 9-month high after Indonesia hinted it might cut supply in 2026.
So policy is directly driving speculation.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, OPEC Plus is trying to keep things stable. Delegates are saying they'll likely pause any output hikes this weekend. They see a potential oil glut coming next year.
Okay, we have to talk about local politics. Things are volatile.
To say the least. The opposition, Perpetual Nasional, is fracturing. Muhyiddin Yassin and Azman Ali have both resigned from their leadership roles effective January 1st.
All stemming from that Perlis leadership dispute. And PAS has already said it's ready to take over the bloc. The political uncertainty is just, well, it's very real.
It is. And at the same time, Njibrazak has officially filed his appeal against the 1MDB conviction. So that long-running legal and political saga is far from over.
Just a couple of quick policy notes before we wrap up. Customs checks at KLIA Terminal 1 are moving.
Yeah, starting January 1st, they'll be at the boarding gates. Should speed things up.
And the Home Ministry is opening a special window for foreign worker quota applications early next year.
Right, from January 19th to March 31st for all sectors. A pragmatic move.
So let's tie this all together. The ringgit had a strong 2025, up over 9%, right? Buoyed by all this corporate cleanup and the boom in regional AI stocks. But here's where it gets really interesting for me.
Go on.
Can the currency hold that momentum if this local political instability keeps delivering shocks? Or will these big corporate deals, like the PMC partnership, be strong enough anchors to keep things moving up?
That's the key question for 2026. I mean, if you connect the dots, you're seeing a high-stakes battle. It's smart capital management versus unpredictable governance. And that tension could spook foreign investors, no matter how healthy the companies look.
A precarious balance, then. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and understand what all this means, make sure you subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.